One of my favourite things about any series of Doctor Who is when villains return to do battle with the Doctor once more, especially if the current Doctor hasn't met those villains yet. And from certain Series 13 filming pictures, we know this series definitely won't be an exception to that rule, which is very, very exciting. And with all that in mind, here are 5 more villains that I'd like to see turn up in Series 13. So the first one I'm going to start off with is the Autons. And the Autons are a really interesting one. They haven't had a proper story since the first ever episode of the revived series way back in 2005, and I really don't understand why they're such a cool villain. They did appear briefly in the Pandora Opens in the Big Bang, but that was more of a cameo rather than an actual appearance. But the Autons are a really cool concept. With obviously the nesting consciousness controlling plastic, they can literally turn anything against you, which is something they could really explore and would work really well. I've always thought it would be cool if they did a Base Under Siege story where the Doctor and co are on some sort of space station and some of the crew start turning out to be Autons and they have to work out which ones are and which ones aren't. And obviously with the reintroduction of the Master in Series 12, it seems irresistible to put the two together and have the Master working with the Autons once again, as it would harken back to his first appearance way back in Terror of the Autons in 1971. So with the second one, I will be talking about some filming photos from Series 13 which have a returning monster in, so if you don't want to know anything about Series 13, then just skip to the time code on the screen. But yeah, I have covered these pictures on my channel, so if you've been watching my videos, you'll know which villains this is. But anyway, the second one I want to talk about are the Rootons. The Rootons have constantly been mentioned as the main enemies of the Sontarans, who they have been interlocked in a war with for many, many millennia. However, it's strange that they've never actually appeared together in a story, with the only time we've seen a Rooton on TV being in The Horror of Fang Rock with the 4th Doctor, which did not feature Sontarans at all. And from Series 13 filming pictures, we know that the Sontarans will definitely be making an appearance in the series, and having the Rootons would give them a reason to actually show up. And obviously we've seen the Sontarans in 2 different time zones, so they're obviously looking for something, and there's no reason why that can't be a Rooton. Obviously, Chibnall made some comment about there are villains from the past 15 years of the show in it, which makes this one kind of unlikely as they haven't appeared in the past 15 years of the show. However, at a very, very, very massive stretch, the Rootons did appear alongside the Sontarans in the final one of the Doctor Who adventure games titled The Gunpowder Plot. But that is a very, very big stretch, but I'm just saying they have appeared in some form in the past 15 years of the show. Obviously, last year there were lots of rumours that the Sea Devils would be showing up in Series 12. However, they didn't, which was very disappointing, but a relic from their cousins, the Silurians, did show up in Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, with a Skithra at the beginning using a Silurian gun. And I think it would be very interesting if we were to see the Silurians again. Now, obviously, Chris Chibnall has written every single modern Who Silurian story, writing the Series 5 two-parter and Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. Well, I say Dinosaurs on a Spaceship as a Silurian story in the loosest sense. And of course you have Madame Vastra as well, and they did cameo in like A Good Man Goes to War and things, but these are just the main ones. So he obviously is a big fan of the Silurians, which is why it's very surprising that they haven't shown up in his era yet. But I'm fairly sure they will at some point. Maybe the Silurian gun in Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror was a clue towards them showing up in Series 13, or maybe it was just there as a nice Easter egg. It's probably the second one, but it would be very interesting if the Silurians did show up again. Obviously the Silurians seem like such a cool idea, there's lots you can do with them, and they're sort of the kind of story that Chris Chibnall would do. And if they were to do it, I would really like them to have a story set in prehistoric times when the Silurians ruled the Earth instead of the humans. And then you could also have a cameo from the Sea Devils to make everyone happy. Also, if they do bring the Silurians back, they should update the design, as I don't mind the New Who one, but they look nothing like the original Silurians at all. So the third monster I want to talk about are the Slitheen. Slitheen. Yes, seriously, I do want to talk about them. I love the Slitheen / Slitheen, even if no one else does, and they should show up again, especially in Series 13, as that would just be the most bonkers thing ever. It would be such an amazing cliffhanger if they just stood there and suddenly the blue light just came out their heads and then they were Slitheen. That would be such an amazing cliffhanger, and if the Slitheen came back, they should definitely do that. Obviously, there's the elephant in the room, the farting problem. Everyone has an issue with that, but that was solved in the Sarah Jane adventures, so they don't even have to bring that back. Obviously, if you just look at the Slitheen, they are the most serious looking villains / monsters in the entire universe, but they could make them pretty scary if they wanted to. And every Doctor Who fan has a soft spot for the giant green baby-faced monsters, don't they? Do they? Yeah, I'm sure everyone loves the Slitheen. Before I get into my final one, I want to give an honourable mention to the Grask / the Grosk and the Shang Chief. But the final one I want to talk about is in fact a Sarah Jane Adventures villain, and he is the Trickster. The Trickster is such an amazing villain who works so well in Sarah Jane Adventures, and it is a physical crime that he has not been born to the main Doctor Who universe. He would work so well, and I don't see why they haven't done it. I clamoured for this last year, and the more I thought about it, the more it needs to happen. And the Trickster could just show up at any point and do basically anything, and it'd be really interesting if the companions had made a deal with the Trickster and they were supposed to be dead, and then they'd have to make some sort of deal, and it would eventually lead to their death or something. The Trickster is a villain with limitless potential, and he should definitely be brought into the main Doctor Who universe. And those are my 5 picks. What do you think of my picks? Tell me who you want to see in Series 13 in the comments below. Whatever you think, I've been Cyberman Alf, and from me for now, it's goodbye.